carbohydrate diet in comparison, you're only taking in a limited amount of carbohydrates. It's pretty much a given that during the day you're going to run out, and you feel shitty. You know, you get mood swings. You get hungry. There's cortisol release. Whereas on a no carbohydrate diet, you're very steady, because whether you run out of food, or you have food in your system, you're only burning fat. So even if you're running a dietary fat, you have a whole store of body fat to resort to. So you're really never at a loss for fuel or for energy, and you always feel pretty good. One thing I will say is, like I said, having done both diets, one thing I find really challenging is to carb load and fill up on a no-carb diet. After going the course of a full diet, maybe 16 weeks or so, and then you get to a show, and all right, now you're gonna carb load. Your body almost sees carbohydrates as like a foreign substance, very hard to digest. It's in my opinion virtually impossible to eliminate carbohydrates from your diet for 16 weeks, 4 months, and then expect it to efficiently uptake them within a few days and produce a significant amount of glycogen and fill up your muscles. That being said, I think if you could do a ketogenic diet but introduce carbohydrates intermittently throughout the diet, maybe carb load a couple times a week, not enough to take you out of ketosis, but enough to keep your body accustomed to digesting and processing carbohydrates, you could have the best of both worlds. You could refill your glycogen stores, and at the same time, come a contest, you can still respond to the carbohydrates. What else? You got any questions? My favorite carb sources, I like oats. Sweet potatoes are good. Brown rice, mainly oats. Oats is probably definitely my favorite carb source. Ezekiel bread isn't bad. It's a sprouted green bread, so there's no flour, very low glycemic index, high in fiber. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, don't you lose a lot of mass on a ketogenic diet?" I guess it depends on the individual. Like I've never had that problem, but a lot of people don't think they need to diet as hard as they really do to get in good shape. And to really get in shape, come, I don't know, 16 weeks and they're shredded to the bone, they say, "Oh, but I lost too much muscle." A lot of the time you didn't lose muscle, you just lost a lot of water and a lot of fat, and you just had more to lose than you thought. So I mean, to really get in shape, you gotta diet hard. And whether you do it with the ketogenic diet or you do it with a high protein, moderate carb diet, it's not gonna be easy. You have to diet hard. And it takes cardio, it is definitely true that when you look your best, you feel your worst, you gotta bust your ass. And a lot of people think that in the off season I don't eat any carbs, that I follow a ketogenic diet year round, and that's not true. Off season, I probably eat 400 grams or so of carbs a day, maybe 50, 60, 70 grams per meal, plus a whole bunch of carbs post-workout. You can't grow without carbs. There's no question about it. You need it. You need it, A, for the calories, B, you need it for the insulin release, which insulin being one of the most anabolic hormones you have in your body that you have to take advantage of. And also for IGF-1 production. Without sufficient carb intake, you don't get the full release of IGF-1. So you cannot, maybe for someone who had a poor diet, you could grow on a ketogenic diet simply because you may be taking in more calories than you're accustomed to. But for your average person, you need carbohydrates. Post-workout, spike your insulin, calories throughout the day, fluid to volumize your muscles and stretch the muscle fascia. You need carbohydrates. Do you need them to survive? No, you definitely don't. Your body can survive perfectly well on protein and fat. But if you really want to grow, yeah, you need to eat. And I don't believe in trying to stay lean year round, as most people tell you in the off season. They don't really recognize me compared to pre-contest, because I get fat and I really don't care. Because I feel like if I'm going to grow, I need to eat a lot and just feed my body. I get the question all the time, how do I get bigger but get leaner at the same time? And that always pisses me off, because if you're going to get bigger, you got to make that your chief concern, to just eat to grow. And when it's time to get in shape, you get in shape. You're not always gonna look good. It's bodybuilding. It's a process, and it's not about being in good shape. If you want to stay in shape all year round, so you look good at the beach, that's fucking easy. Anybody could do that. But you're never going to grow. You're never going to look like a real bodybuilder unless you're really feeding your body. And like I said, you're not always going to look pretty. But that's bodybuilding. But I want to know if anybody at all has any questions, anything they want to ask.
Fat source.
My primary fat sources, olive oil is a great fat source, macadamia nut oil, egg yolks, red meat, the fat from red meat, and that's another important thing. You have to be sure to try and balance your fat sources. As we know, there's omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, and too many of any one of them is no good. Omega-3s have anti-inflammatory properties, which are very good for your cardiovascular health, things like that, but they also have a very strong anti-inflammatory properties, which muscle growth is by nature an inflammatory process, and if you're going to grow, you need inflammation, which is why anybody who knows will tell you to stay away from anti-inflammatory drugs if you're really trying to put on muscle, because it'll really reduce the effectiveness of your training. That being said, it's important to get in saturated fat in your diet, egg yolks, red meat, and balance it with other healthy fats like fatty fish, fish oil supplements, and other omega-3s. I prefer fish oil over flaxseed oil. I get that question a lot. In humans, you have it's hard for them to convert the ALA, which is the main constituent, the main omega-3 in flaxseed oil, to EPA and DHA, which are the active forms of omega-3s in humans. Whereas if you just take fish oil, you're already getting EPA and DHA directly. It's much more efficient. You're going right to the source. So I definitely prefer fish oil over flaxseed oil. What's up? I'm sorry?
How do you keep the fish bugs down?
I always make sure I take the fish oil pills at the beginning of the meal, so that way you get all the food on top of it. I'll keep them down. But no, if you get a high quality one, you shouldn't burp it up. Plus, Animal makes a good one called Animal Omega, which has all your omega-3, 6, 9s, and it actually has a digestive enzyme complex in it too, which will help prevent those burps. Give me some questions.
What supplements do you find to be more essential on a no-carb diet than a carb diet?
On a low to no-carb diet, I think amino acids are especially important. A lot of people say, oh, you don't need extra amino acids, you get it in the protein you eat. I've always used extra branched chains when I was dieting and dieting hard, especially if I'm doing a lot of cardio, a lot of intense training. I'll take them throughout my workout, and I definitely feel it. I increased stamina, better strength, better pumps. It'll definitely help you hang on to more lean mass when you're dieting, and actually help kick your body into more of a fat burning mode and prevent you from catabolizing protein. Animal Nitro is hands down the best amino I've used. And I'm not just saying it because I'm with Animal. There's some products, I'll be honest, that I don't like that Animal makes, and some stuff I think is the best on the market. But I would never say I like something or that I use it if I don't, because I really don't care.